Hi everyone from Tikkun Global in Jerusalem, and I'm doing a set of Christmas teaching updates. And the first one is called By Two or Three Witnesses, based on Deuteronomy 19:15, which says, Al pi shne edim or al pi shlosha edim yakum davar, which means that everything, especially when it comes to law or a court case or anything like that, must be established by two or three witnesses, right? You don't just trust the testimony of one person. And of course, the more the better. The more people who have seen, people who are not connected with each other and don't have any vested interest, if they've seen the same thing, that's good news. Well, as we meditate during this season of celebrating Yeshua's birth or his conception, either way, Luke chapter 1 and 2 and Matthew chapter 1 and 2, it's amazing to see how everything is witnessed by at least two people or two sources, okay? We even have Matthew and Luke, okay? Not just one of them. For example, Luke 1, you have Elizabeth and Mary, right? Mary, Gabriel, the angel Gabriel speaks to her, and she's pregnant by the Holy Spirit. That's pretty amazing, but pretty controversial too. Well, she goes to visit her, was it her aunt or her great aunt Elizabeth, who is also now miraculously pregnant, and she arrives, and John the Baptist, he was quite a preacher full of the Holy Spirit, even when he was just a 6-month-old embryo, jumps, right? And Elizabeth prophesies. She prophesies to Mary that she is carrying the Lord, okay? Two witnesses. Simeon and Anna, after Yeshua is born, after Mary finishes her purification, they take him up to the temple. And there are two different people, one a man, one a woman, who are people of fasting and prayer. Anna has been a widow for something like 80 years, fasting and praying, looking for the Messiah. And the Holy Spirit speaks to both of them, and they approach the Holy Family and prophesy over the baby Yeshua. Joseph and Mary, mentioned that before. Mary heard from Gabriel, right? Joseph was going to put her away. He thought something fishy's happened here. And the Lord an angel appears to him in a dream and speaks to him. No, this is by the Holy Spirit. You will name him Yeshua. So they both get that double testimony. And then from people who are outside, who have nothing to do with the family, we also have two testimonies. First, the shepherds in Bethlehem at his birth. And then 2 years later, when she was probably about 2 years old, the Magi, the wise men from the east, who come following the star and come to worship the infant, toddler, King of the Jews. Again, two testimonies. So the Lord is very careful. Everything is established by two or three witnesses. And here we are, in the end, in these times, a lot of difficult things, a lot of shifting happening in the world. And I see two great, huge sources of testimony about what's happening and where we are in God's plan. And that is Israel and the church. We talk about this, Asher and I teach about a lot, this in Dan Juster, and we have books. But in general, we believe, Matthew 24:14, this gospel of the kingdom must be preached to every ethnos, every tribe, tongue, and nation, and then the end will come. And so learning and watching what's happening with the preaching of the gospel and Bible translations and all kinds of signs of the times over the last 100 years encourages us to see how God's plan is being fulfilled. And on the other hand, also about the same place in Matthew, just a few verses back, is the end of Matthew 23, verses 37 through 39, where Yeshua is speaking. The whole chapter, he's speaking to the Pharisees, he's speaking to the leadership of Israel. And he says in those verses, you will not see me again until you say, you all say, Baruch haba b'shem Adonai. Many of you know this teaching, and how we understand that he's speaking to Jewish people in Jerusalem. He starts by saying, "Oh Jerusalem, oh Jerusalem." That means there has to be, for Yeshua, for us to see him again, that means for him to return, there has to be a remnant of believers, Jewish people, because we're the ones who understand what Baruch haba b'shem Adonai from Psalm 118, what that means and how to welcome the King. There has to be that remnant in a Jerusalem, a biblical Jerusalem, which means it has to have something to do with the Jewish people, welcoming him, saying Baruch haba. These conditions, the restoration of Israel, the gospel going out to all the nations and how they're linked together, are two witnesses that can, as we follow them, that we can gain great encouragement, just like we can around the Christmas stories, that God is accomplishing His plan and that we have confidence and peace in what He's doing during this season. Merry Christmas.